Mother Kispotta, founder of the Daughters of St. Annie in Ranchi. Father Fred Peal of the Society of Jesus and Mother Kispotta of the Daughters of St. Annie knew one another over a period of 40 years. There was a long gap between their initial and final interactions, but they experienced a number of the same events. Daughters of St. Annie Ranchi, DSA. 1878, Mother Kispotta was born into the indigenous Arayan tribe. 1885 Father Constant Lurvens arrived with the Belgium Jesuit mission to Chotanagpur. His beatification process has begun. In 1882 he attended the Asansol Seminary with Father Fred Peal. Father Lurvens and Father Peal both taught at St. Xavier's College, Kolkata. 1890 The Loreto nuns came from Kolkata to start a school in Ranchi. She attended the school and saw the hard work of the Loreto sisters with an ardent love for Jesus to gather as many souls as possible. 1890 Mother Kispotta was baptized as a Catholic. She was previously a Lutheran. She received the divine enlightenment on looking at the statue of Our Lady of Lourdes. Father Fred Peal Society of Jesus provided daily religious instruction to the students, including young Mother Kispotta. 1915 Father Fred Peal, chaplain to the Connaught Rangers, visited Lourdes while on leave in the First World War. 1895–96 There was a terrible famine and cholera epidemic in Ranchi and West Bengal. Father Fred Peal and other Jesuit fathers from Mantresa House provided for the physical and spiritual needs of the epidemic and famine-affected population. 1897 The Daughters of St. Annie congregation was established by Mother Mary Bernadette Prasad Kispotta and 3 others. 1926–33 Father Fred Peal took the utmost care of the temporal and spiritual needs of the Daughters of St. Annie. Post-1934 Mother Kispotta wrote her memoirs towards the end of her life. She described the great Father Fred Peal, including the religious instruction that she received from him in the early 1890s, and again the religious guidance he provided between 1926 to 1933. 1960 Mother Kispotta died. 2015 Her beatification process began in July. 2016 The congregation was flourishing and had 1,040 members in 140 communities in India, Italy and Germany. Towards the end of her life, Mother Anna Mary Bernadette Kispotta wrote her memoirs. They are available online via the Daughters of St. Annie's website. The document contains a section on the Silver Jubilee of St. Annie's Foundation in 1926. In this there are 2 subsections, one named the Silver Jubilee of the First Profession and the other subsection is named the Great Father Peal. The remainder of this video is based on this material. Reverend Father Frederick Peal of the Society of Jesus gave his services to us from the 4th of April, 1926 to the 28th of December, 1933. During these 7 years and 8 months, he took utmost care of the temporal and spiritual needs of the Daughters of St. Annie. His biggest virtue was that despite sadness and suffering, he always showed himself to be happy, cheerful and busy. He did his best to instill deep faith, hope and charity in us through his countless instructions on the life of the Lord Jesus, the Immaculate Mother Mary and the biographies of saints. Whatever be the affliction or calamity, he would never tire or retreat from any enterprise out of fear. He wanted others also to imbibe his spirit of loving kindness and sweet speech. He encouraged people through his advice and example and lifted the spirits of those who were broken-hearted physically and spiritually. He took utmost care of the temporal and spiritual needs of the Daughters of St. Annie. He used to tell us repeatedly, "Look, dear sisters, this world is temporary, but don't ever think that you can sit in a car or train and reach heaven faster through a shortcut." He was transferred to St. Stanislaus College, Sitagaha in Hazaribagh on the 28th of December, 1933 by his superiors in accordance with the will of God. He had hardly lived there for a year when one day he suddenly became unconscious and was bedridden for 2 to 3 days. He died soon after on the 5th of October, 1934. bequeathed all his ordination gifts to us after his death. A beautiful and sparkling chasuble for Mass including a beautiful stole, surplice, alb, chalice, ciborium, monstrance, veil for benediction. Besides these, he gave to us the sisters, the working girls and the servants of Soso a whole year's expenses. Provisions like rice, dal, salt, sugar, tea, kerosene oil, to mention a few. He left them all for us, the poor daughters of Saint Annie. He spent his whole life praising God and saving countless souls. So the Lord Jesus will certainly reward him according to his own promises. You certainly were an honest and faithful servant. Since you were faithful in small matters, I will reward you greatly. Come and share in your Master's happiness. Father Fred Peal worked with the field ambulance and dressing stations on the front line in the First World War in Western Europe and Mesopotamia, Iraq, where he observed. The doctor looks after the physical needs of the wounded and dying soldiers. The priest looks after their religious and spiritual needs. Today the daughters of Saint Annie also exercise this dual role in their religious and medical support for their community. Father Fred Peal of the Society of Jesus, with the Connaught Rangers in Mesopotamia, has written some war jottings. Here is a little incident during his voyage up the Tigris. Most of the bargemen are Chaldean Christians from Mosul. They insist on calling themselves Roman Catholic with an emphasis on Roman. They do not wish to be mistaken for Protestants. These Chaldeans are as a rule very fair, square-built, and make very good bargemen. One of the men took quite a fancy to me, and more than a month later, he found out my tent. We managed, by using a little English and Urdu, and now and again some Arabic, to carry on a conversation. He gave me some very interesting details about Christianity in Mosul. The Chaldeans are very numerous here and also in Baghdad. He spoke of another place, I could not catch the name, where he said there were only Christians. He dreaded the Turks, who are, he said, very hard on all Christians and force them to fight against the British. I heard the same from our officers, and among the prisoners recently taken were many Christians who were delighted to get into our hands. We had a graphic proof of the same. On the 22nd of January, 1916 at the Hana position, a man jumped out of the Turkish trenches and advanced towards us holding up a picture of Our Blessed Lady and signing himself with the sign of the cross as a proof that he was a Christian. Of course, our men did not fire. The man walked in and gave himself up as a prisoner.